shocking discovery has flipped the life of one rising star upside down, and the internet can't stop digging. At the center of this dark storm is a young singer whose career was taking off, only for everything to come crashing down after a body was discovered inside his Tesla. The headlines aren't about his music anymore, they're about something far more disturbing. A story that's left fans horrified, investigators scrambling, and an entire industry asking questions. It all started at a tow yard in Los Angeles. Workers going about their day were suddenly stopped in their tracks by a foul, unmistakable stench. It wasn't just any odor, it was the kind that made people's stomachs turn and their skin crawl. Following that smell led them to a sleek Tesla with Texas license plates. At first, no one could understand why a car like that had been abandoned. Teslas don't just get left behind. But when police popped the front compartment, the truth spilled out in the most gruesome way possible. Inside were the remains of a teenage girl. Quickly, authorities identified her as Celeste Rivas, who had been reported missing from Lake Elsinore more than a year earlier. For her family, who had held on to hope for months, the confirmation was devastating. For the public, the detail that her body was discovered in a vehicle belonging to David Anthony Burke, a 20-year-old artist gaining fame on TikTok, was almost too much to process. From that moment, the story spiraled into something bigger than anyone expected. Investigators raided the house David had been staying in, seizing a laptop and other evidence. Neighbors said they had seen his distinct Tesla parked on the street for weeks. Online, the theories started pouring in. Some said he had manipulated Celeste for years, isolating her from family and friends until she was trapped in his world. Others pointed to the strange details surrounding her death: the timing, the tattoos, and the music. The most chilling claims came from people close to her. Celeste's brother revealed he had gone to authorities long before, warning them about David. He called him dangerous, someone who had too much control over his sister. But those warnings were brushed aside, and now his worst fears seemed to have come true. Celeste's remains were found stuffed into the front trunk of a Tesla. She was wrapped in plastic, decomposed and unrecognizable. But one tattoo on her finger confirmed her identity. And here's where the story took a disturbing turn. David had the exact same tattoo. Some fans argued maybe she had copied him out of admiration, the way teenage fans sometimes imitate celebrities. But others insisted it was more than that. They said the tattoos symbolized a secret bond between them, a bond no one else knew about. For many, that detail crossed the line from fandom into obsession, cementing suspicions that their connection was anything but innocent. As if that wasn't dark enough, fans began combing through his music, and what they uncovered left people shaken. One of his most popular tracks, Romantic Homicide, suddenly felt like more than just lyrics. The song had lines about killing someone in the back of his mind and not regretting it. Chilling words on their own, but paired with Celeste's death, they sounded almost like confessions. The video for that track, released on her birthday, people couldn't ignore the timing, and theories spread like wildfire. Digging deeper, internet detectives pulled up other songs with lyrics that mentioned Celeste by name, describing her scent, her clothes, even calling her obsessed and depressed. For many, it was too specific to dismiss as coincidence. They treated the songs like clues, like puzzle pieces hiding in plain sight. Suddenly, every lyric, every post, every video was being dissected, as if his entire catalog was coded evidence of a hidden crime. Meanwhile, social media receipts began to surface. Screenshots of conversations between Celeste and her friends painted a picture of a girl caught in something she couldn't escape. In one exchange, she told a friend she didn't want to talk to anyone. When pressed, the friend asked if she was with David again. Her response was evasive but haunting. "I'm safe." "No, I'm not." For those reading it now, the contradictions sound like cries for help. Even more disturbing, screenshots from Discord groups began to leak. People who claimed to have been in the same servers said David and Celeste were openly referred to as a couple as far back as 2022, when she would have been just 11 or 12. That timeline shocked even his biggest defenders. If true, it would mean their connection stretched back years, long before she disappeared. Other rumors suggested David had paid classmates from Celeste's school to stay quiet about the relationship. Hush money handed out to kids just to keep them from talking. Her brother confirmed online that he knew about David, that he had seen their relationship and begged police to intervene. When people asked why nothing was done, his answer was blunt. The authorities ignored him. Now, thousands of strangers online have rallied behind him, amplifying his story, demanding justice. The case has become more than an investigation, it's a movement, with TikTok detectives, Reddit threads, and Twitter sleuths trying to piece together what really happened. But the internet isn't just unearthing texts. Photos and videos started to emerge showing David and Celeste together. In some, her face is partially covered, as though he was hiding her identity. In others, objects in the background match those seen in his TikTok videos. Her purse, her clothes, even Hello Kitty items she was known to wear. Fans noticed he often posted Hello Kitty imagery, which lined up with the last outfit Celeste was seen in before she disappeared. For many, that wasn't just a coincidence. It was a sign of an unhealthy obsession. The trail of disturbing content didn't stop there. Old reposts surfaced, showing David sharing violent memes, cannibal jokes, and dark captions about jealousy and control. One clip he shared showed a man chopping meat with the caption, "Me if I see her talking to other dudes." Given how Celeste's remains were found, that post sent shivers down people's spines. Critics said it was evidence of a mindset that blurred the line between fantasy and reality. As investigators dug into his past, new rumors began to swirl. Some speculated Celeste may have been pregnant, pointing to cryptic tweets David had written about circumstances keeping her from going home. Others believed jealousy drove him, that he couldn't stand the thought of her being with anyone else. Whatever the motive, people agreed on one thing: the relationship was built on control. A young girl with little power, drawn into the orbit of an older artist just as his fame was beginning to rise. Law enforcement, meanwhile, moved carefully. They stopped short of calling it a homicide, waiting for autopsy results to confirm the cause of death. But the evidence kept stacking up. His Tesla, registered in his name, left abandoned with her body inside. The tattoos, the songs, the screenshots, the raids on his home. Even if every piece wasn't solid proof, together they painted a chilling picture. The online pressure was relentless. Fans began leaving flowers and memorials for Celeste outside venues where David was scheduled to perform. The image of people mourning a teenager while the artist carried on tour dates felt surreal. Why, people asked, was he performing when his name was tied to such a scandal? The contrast between his stage persona and the headlines made the entire situation feel grotesque. Celeste's friends and classmates added their voices. They claimed she had confided in them about the relationship, that she felt trapped, even scared. Some said David tried to keep her hidden, pulling her away from her family and social circle. That isolation, they said, was the reason she didn't come home. And now, with her gone, they were left with guilt for not speaking up sooner. In the middle of all this, one haunting coincidence kept resurfacing. Every year around Celeste's birthday, David seemed to drop new music. Songs filled with dark themes, with lines that now read like confessions. Fans charted the release dates and found the pattern hard to ignore. Whether it was deliberate or not, the connection was unsettling. It made his art feel less like music and more like a diary of obsession. Theories spread faster than facts. Some were convinced it was a ritual, that he had sacrificed her for fame. Others argued it was a toxic relationship gone horribly wrong. Conspiracies about industry cover-ups, government involvement, and hidden symbolism flooded comment sections. While investigators stuck to evidence, the internet went wild, building entire narratives around scraps of information. Through it all, the one fact that couldn't be denied was Celeste's age. 13, 14, 15. Different reports gave different numbers, but all of them made the situation disturbing. She was a child, barely a teenager, and David was an adult. That imbalance of power colored every detail, from the tattoos to the songs to the screenshots. It wasn't just a scandal, it was a tragedy that spoke to bigger issues of exploitation, fame, and the way young girls can be pulled into dangerous situations. The final haunting detail came from the autopsy timeline. Authorities believe her body had been in that Tesla for at least 5 days before it was discovered. 5 days of silence. 5 days of a community unaware that the missing girl they were searching for was already gone. For her family, it was unbearable. Her mother had prayed for her safe return, but instead, she got the kind of news no parent should ever face. And now the question looms: what happens next? Investigators are still combing through evidence, but the pressure is mounting. Will David face charges, or will he somehow slip through the cracks of the system? His fans are divided, with some defending him, others demanding accountability. But the story isn't about him anymore, it's about Celeste, a teenager who should still be alive. Her name is being spoken everywhere now, across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. People are demanding her story not be forgotten, demanding answers, demanding justice. Whether this ends in a courtroom or not, the scars are permanent. The music industry has lost another chance to protect the vulnerable, and fans are left questioning who they can trust. At the core of it, the tragedy is simple. Celeste deserved more than to become a name tied to headlines and rumors. She deserved a future. And as investigators press on, the world is left watching, waiting, and wondering, will the truth ever fully come out? What do you think? Are authorities closing in on David? Or will this be another case where the evidence is buried and the story fades away? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is shaking everyone. If you found this deep dive eye-opening, share it so more people can see what's really going on, and subscribe so you don't miss the updates. Because the deeper we dig, the more disturbing it gets, and this might only be the beginning.